Ow! Ow. I'm okay. I think I'm okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phil the Conquistadork. I got bad news. We're still playing C14 dating. That's right. If I'm doing this, I'm dragging you all to hell with me. Let's keep on keeping on, digging through the clay for something that might be a Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth, or it might be, maybe, it could be, love. I grumbled inwardly as I wiped the sticky dirt off yet again. I was on my knees, trying to finish the last 25 centimeters. I did uncover tiny bones, but rationalized they weren't worth sketching in the grid. Aw, poor tiny bones. So underappreciated. There was a sound of scraping metal, and I turned to see Hendrik climbing down the ladder behind me. Oh, we've never gotten a good look at his claw hand. Oh, man. Cool. Alright, what a rare sight. You're hardly in the cave, Hendrik. I know, as a geologist you'd think it'd be the opposite. Yeah, as a geologist you'd think you'd never be in a cave surrounded by rocks and shit. That's insanity. He surveyed my square and I started to get self-conscious, wondering if I was doing something wrong. Hope you don't mind the tight squeeze. I'm gonna say that to you later, Hendrik. He knelt down next to me and I hastily moved to my haunches, offering him my knee pad. He shook his head. Don't worry about it, I'll just be here for a few minutes. I wanted to observe your digging techniques. After I made myself comfortable again, I leaned forward to start excavating. He watched, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. How am I doing? Is your wrist well? Any pains from repetition? Nope, Sherry gave me some pointers to avoid it. Great! Mind if I borrow your trowel for a second? Sure. I cleaned it, handed it over, and he grasped it nimbly. I've noticed your wrist is slightly angled, and you're simply scraping or trailing your trowel through the dirt. It's painfully slow. Isn't archaeology supposed to be painfully slow? He chuckled and then held the trowel so it was parallel to the dirt. It is, but even you should be able to dig through a few centimeters a day. Align your trowel like so, then make a nice downward flick with the wrist. The blade of the tool effortlessly sliced through the clay, much cleaner than before. Don't be afraid to make large cuts. This helps you avoid blurring the sediment line, as it's neater and easier to distinguish. I'm gonna admire his procedure, if you know what I'm saying. His movements were broad yet graceful. It was strange, even with such a simple action. I could tell he was experienced. I watched in awe. I have to say something obvious here. You're good at this. I've been doing this for years, so I have a slight inkling on how to excavate. Also, he extended his arm upward toward the middle of the square. The trowel smoothly grazed over the dirt until it bit into a slope. Your square isn't entirely vertical. If you're worried about digging too far inward, use a ruler to double check. Thanks for the tip, Hendrik. Gene problem. God damn it, I'm sick of you, Hendrik. If you need me again, I'll be happy to assist. Just don't start taking me for granted. Oh, I love you again. Okay, that was cheesy, even for you. Hey, that pun is a clastic. A clastic. That's the word I have to look up. He returned the tool to me and stood up, glancing in Kyler's direction. Hendrik rubbed the back of his head, mulling over how to approach him. Finally, he tapped Kyler on the shoulder. Kyler begrudgingly stared at him before activating his implant. Oui? Kyler's voice struggled to keep an even tone, while Hendrik's voice had a shaky cheerfulness to it. I was wondering if you needed any help or had any questions. I'm fine. I don't need your help. Kyler returned to his square, ignoring Hendrik, who sighed ruefully. It's not the best time to ask, even if my curiosity is killing me. I returned to my work while Hendrik climbed up the ladder, most likely to make his round with the other students. Staring at my trowel, I recalled Hendrik's movements, then attempted to mimic them to the best of my ability. Slice cleanly, huh? I inspected the work Hendrik did and made similarly sized cuts into the soil. The clay was sticky and cumbersome, but it was not as bad when I had my trowel angled. The rest of the day was uneventful, but at least my progress was much better. I stood up and stretched. It was a good time to take a small break and jot down some notes in my journal. I'm gonna get some fresh air. You know, Kyler, you're gonna get hypoxia if you don't go outside every now and then. I'll be fine. Okay, later. Fucking robot. Alright, I failed at inquiring. I don't even know how you can... How do you fail at inquiring? It is simply asking a question. You can ask a question on accident. How do you fail at it? Completely famished by this morning's task, I scooted onto the bench with a bowl of mushroom soup. Grabbing a slice of Swiss cheese, I teared it and dropped the pieces into the soup. What are you doing? Adding cheese to my soup? Is that what people do in America? It's what I do. I guess it's common enough. I haven't really thought about it. A few seats down, I noticed Kyler also eyeing my actions before silently returning to his meal. Was adding cheese to soup really that bizarre? Suddenly, a crowd approached. Burn the cheese eater! Kill the witch! I heard a holler behind us, and many of us automatically turned our heads toward the driveway. A tall woman dragged a suitcase behind her. With her free hand waved toward one end of the eating area. Hendrik immediately stood up and approached her. Well, hello. Rose, glad you could finally make it. I didn't think you'd arrive this early. No thanks to you. You practically ditched me in the middle of those core samples. What can I say? Analyzing core samples is boring. Oh no, don't punt around with me, Mr. Ace Geologist. Her stern expression faded, and they both exchanged a cordial grin as they leaned in for a cheek kiss. Augustin and Sherry gathered around her as well. Would it be okay to introduce myself too? I'm doing it. I'm saying hello, because I am a fucking rebel. That's what I do here. Oh, god damn it, I hit the wrong button. I'm so good at rebelling. That'd be so rude if I just barged in there and introduced myself. I was a student under Sherry, after all. However, I was still curious. I glanced into Kyler's direction. Hey, Kyler, who is she? Rosemarie? She's part of the main team. She does lithic work and all that. Stone tools and technology. Huh, that's pretty neat. Usually she arrives earlier to teach students about identifying flint. He trailed off, feeling that his answer was self-contained enough, and resumed eating his meal. Well, that was a moment that we shared, I suppose. Rosemarie is... Chantal delivered a concise summary, and Joan nodded happily. Of course, that means yet another lecture. If only they covered the stuff I want to learn. Sighing, Chantal slumped over while Joan fidgeted anxiously. They exchanged a few words in French, and Chantal seemed touched. Aw, Joan. What did she say? She says she'll stay with me for the whole 8 weeks. Most students, if archaeology isn't their elective, only need to stay for 4 at the most. I mean, I could break it down, but I'd rather get it over with in one go. Then Kyler doesn't have to be here. This is his 4th time. I guess not, but it does look good if you're trying to break into archaeological work. Either way, I don't want to pay 100 euros a week to dig in dirt, but I guess that's his thing. He's probably not graded on this. He willingly paid to volunteer? She tilted her head, pondering, before concluding with a careless shrug. And you're here until the excavation ends? Uh-huh. Be a shame if I only came here for a few weeks, considering how far I've flown. Here till the end. She grinned, proud of her ability to follow the conversation. Her hearing comprehension was superior to her verbal skills. It made me wish I could pick up French faster. I swirled my spoon into my soup until it was cheesy enough to form strings when I lifted the utensil. Satisfied, I swallowed a mouthful. Joan stuck out her tongue at the sight, causing Chantal to laugh. Stop giving her culture shock, Melissa. She's very sheltered. It's just cheese. It's just cheese. Before we knew it, lunch was officially over, and it was time to return to our assigned tasks. Hopefully I would be able to properly introduce myself to Rosemarie later. I had a feeling I'd learn a lot from her. God in heaven. Okay. Thank God for that cheese moment, man. I feel like we learned a lot. I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like the French learned a lot. Oh, good. Oh, good. This is gonna work out fine. Hey, there's Spoiler Kevin. He's playing Doom. You guys should check out his shit. He is gonna be, he's actually gonna be doing a documentary-style thing on Doom series coming soon, so that'll be interesting. You should check it out. 7 points off. God damn it. Damn it, Kevin, you distracted me. Fine, 3 points away, good. Alright. 18. God damn it. There's no point to this. It's just chance. This is all luck. Oh, god damn it. It's all luck. This is bullshit. 3 points away. You did a decent job today. Not like when I fucking ran away yesterday. What is that? Coprolite. I'm sorry, that looked like a very painful impacted turd. Augustin, why does this vertebra look so pitted? Looks like silly cave bear got eaten by smart hyena or lion. Those are bite marks, attacking the anterior thoracic vertebral column. And lower spine, petite fleur. Oh, lower spine, little flower. Ooh, don't flirt with me, dude. Don't be like that. I squealed in my seat as a brush poked my back. If that is from layer A2GR, I believe we already have 3 bones from that same animal. Must be tough piecing it all together. We have collections going back to 80s. We are still fitting pieces found decades apart. Did people always know about this cave? How was it found? You aware of popular movie with an archaeologist who carries whip? Why is he suddenly speaking? Am I crazy? He wasn't speaking in like broken English before, was he? Like, I feel like he was doing fine before. Now suddenly he's talking like fucking Chantel over there. You aware of popular movie with archaeologists who carry whip, go crack crack? Indiana Jones? Oh yes. Because of that movie, many kids were inspired and explored region, pretending to find treasure. Silly kids stumble on cave here. Who knew an inaccurate portrayal of archaeology would lead to a real archaeological discovery? We still get an occasional student who is disappointed this cave is not a booby-trapped temple. I would lose all my help if that was the case. Maybe it is, and we just haven't dug the traps up yet. If so, you'll be the first to find out. I do not like the look that he's giving me as he describes the fact that I might die. Well, not the fact, but the joke that I might die. It doesn't feel good. I don't feel good. He laughed, then excused himself, and I glanced at the chewed bone. Maybe I should dig on a higher level instead. Lord. Great, I learned a lot, I guess. Tense. Why was there around here so tense? It was your cheese. I blame your bullshit cheese situation. I pondered that while I stirred my cheese-drenched tomato soup. Both Joan and Chantal, who previously sat and talked with me, had disappeared. Many students paced by the museum entrance. Some checked their phones or glanced over the shoulders of others to view their screens. Meanwhile, DeAndre spread mustard on his second or third sandwich. He also spread his arms wide, showing off his weird blonde puby understubble. At least he seemed unfazed. What's going on? Everyone appears to be anticipating something. Exam results are being released today. This late? After a casual shrug, he took a large bite of his sandwich. He wiped his mouth before speaking. Usually they're released earlier, but they had some problem with the data or entry system or whatever. They must be super important if everyone looks this anxious. It's a make it or break it deal. If students don't average out a certain percentage, they have to repeat a year. Luck. I know you've already taken the test, but break a leg. I'll be rooting for you. He abruptly coughed, but managed to choke the morsel down. Thumping his chest, he cleared his throat while snorting amusedly. What? What did I say? Nothing. It's just root has an entirely different meaning in New Zealand. Yeah, it means fucking. It means fucking. We're rootin'. Rootin' tootin'. I haven't a hunch, but okay, what is it? Laughing, he took a few moments to calm himself and speak coherently. Well, if you said something like, I'll root for the whole team, I'd be amazed by your stamina. Ellipses. DeAndre, I should punch you right in your blonde, chiseled, handsome face. What? You said it, not me. I gave him a Swiss jab with my shoe, and he feigned pain. Ow, stop that. I don't want to end my rugby career that quickly. But thanks for the support, Mel. Make sure you say Barrack for next time, though. He finished with a playful wink, and I rolled my eyes, although I did make a mental note of that. Not that you need any cheering. You're likely used to this by now. Too used to it. Fortunately, this will be my last semester, and then I'm free. Well, la-di-da. The only thing left to finish is this elective requirement, since I'd hate to waste a semester on a single course. A more expensive course, too. Jealous? At least you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like I barely started, and it'll never end. That's how my 20s felt as well. I felt a playful flick on my forehead. It'll be over before you know it. Hang in there. Before I could respond, one of the students announced something in French, and everyone tapped away at their phones again. Results are up. From the reactions, DeAndre didn't need to clarify. However, he set the sandwich down and fished out his phone. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna bug the fuck out of him. I got a good look at his phone. It was noticeably bigger and clunkier, an older model, and there were dents all over it. Wow, you're not nice to your phone. Have you considered getting one of those protective covers? Those screen protectors? Yeah, that's what they're called. Believe me, I've tried. There's still plastic film all over the side of my desk from attempting to apply those stupid things. Of course, whenever I want to use it, my phone slows down. Or maybe it's the website, what with the sheer number of students logging in. Computer speak. He swung one leg over the bench and scanned for someone. Kyler was off to the side, also checking his phone, and DeAndre hollered something to him in French. Kyler responded curtly, but took a few steps closer to talk. I wasn't able to follow until DeAndre motioned to me. Hey, let's not exclude her. Anyway, are you on the varsity website? Can you check for me? What department? Seriously? That's sweet ass. English department. Kyler paused and glanced at DeAndre inquisitively, but said nothing before turning back to his phone. ID? The first numbers are 826. God! Why do I need this? 914. Yeah, Jesus. Just say he gave him the information he needed. We don't need the actual goddamn numbers. I'm gonna steal DeAndre's identity now. I'm telling you, I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna steal his shit. Ruin his credit score. His rugby playing days are over, my friend. Your average is 16.48? A little better than last time, not bad. Is that a good score? What's it out of? 20. I got Grand Distinction, which is pretty solid. I'm guessing A's in your country. Was this the correct ID I checked? Oh, what's this, Kyler? Shocked that a pro athlete got good grades? Smugly, DeAndre raised his hands to his head. Yeah, I noticed that. After making fists, his fingers sprung out as he mimicked an exploding sound. Kyler scoffed, then glanced down at his phone. Mature. Kidding aside, I reckon you did well too. Cheers, buddy. Don't buddy me. I'm not your buddy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy. Mate? Ah, I'm not your mate, friend. I'm not your friend, mate. Wasn't thinking that. After the jest sank in, Kyler massaged his temples with a broad hand. This conversation is over. Ooh, damn. Cold. Fucking burn. Cold burn. Ice burn. Kyler stalked off, and DeAndre rolled his eyes toward me. We're getting along so well. Ah, is it still because you nailed him in the face with a rugby ball, or when you both had cooking duty? Completely forgot about that, and yeah, we didn't get along there either. He was absolutely hopeless in the kitchen, and I really didn't have the patience for it. He can't do anything. Oh, come on, it couldn't have been that bad. Mel, he can't do anything. He failed cooking rice in a rice cooker. That's bad. That's why, if Helena gives me cooking duty, can we pair up from now on? Yeah. Yeah, why not? I don't want to, you know what, I'm not, you know, I know that a lot of you, I know what this is. I know how it works. A lot of you, this may be my first version of a game like this, but a lot of you are going, oh, you gotta go after Kyler because he's misunderstood and you gotta break through that shell. I've watched TV, I know how that fucking shit works, but you know what? He's a dick. He's a dick, and he's a robot. And ain't no robot no friend of mine. So it's just gonna be me and the jolly blonde giant over here. You can count on me. Sweet ass. Thanks, Mel. With that sorted, DeAndre excused himself, explaining that he wanted to see his grades in further detail. I returned to my meal, wondering about my own marks. I've only been here for 3 weeks. What kind of marks could I possibly have? Failed in the cave. What a shock. New find excavate. Oh, here we go. Alright. I swear to God I'm getting good at these. Oh, look, this is a much smaller one. I can handle this. This I can probably do okay. Yeah. No, God damn it! That was... Oh, I swear to God I hit the wrong button. I'm not a complete idiot. Alright, so it's gonna be that. I think the problem I had before was that I didn't realize that the numbers were in order. That they were like that the 1 was gonna come first and then the 2. I think not knowing that, I wasn't clear on that, and it really fucked me up. There we go. Yeah, so I'm not quite so bad at these anymore. Journal entry, Z, coordinates, good, Z, awesome. Glad I did that. Y26, altitude 120. I mumbled to myself as I jotted down the measurements. Once that was done, I wrapped the tiny unidentified bone fragment in tinfoil, then slipped a piece of paper with a 3 on it among the folds. I was digging through some forgotten badger burrow, which meant all the context in it was mixed up and useless. Did I even need to draw this on the document? Even with my music on, I heard it rain heavily outside, and it felt much damper in the cave. Kyler groaned, then shifted from his knees to stand up. As a faster digger, he already reached the bottom of his square, and had been in a stoop position for some time. Oh God, what happened? As I zipped in my plastic bag, the lights suddenly went out. There were a few high-pitched squeals, but no real panic. Chatter murmured through the higher levels of the cave. Oh great, what are we gonna do, sit in the dark and make out? Really? I yanked my earbuds out and stuffed them into my hoodie pocket. I could barely see, although there were faint sources of illumination from emergency lights on the main catwalk. Augustin delivered something in French, while Sherry relayed the message further down, like the instructions. Pulling out my phone, I switched to the flashlight application and set it on the clipboard between me and Kyler. What did they say? He said that if the lights don't turn on in 10 to 15 minutes, we can leave. He's also grabbing some extra flashlights so he and Sherry can guide everyone out safely. Yeah, I wouldn't feel confident walking around here in the dark, especially on the walkways with no rails. Grabbing my knee pads, I improvised a little cushion and sat down. Kyler did the same, but sat cross-legged with his hands resting on his ankles. These details, as you imagine, are massively important. I cannot overstate the importance of the fact that I'm using my knee pads as an improvised cushion device, but Kyler, on the other hand, the rebel that he is just sitting cross-legged with his hands on his ankles, no less. See, the importance of this is in the details. So important that you know that. Even more important, that I lingered on the moment. You see what I did? I lingered. I brought it to all of our attention so that we could appreciate it that much more. There was light conversation, along with jokes and laughter surrounding us. While Kyler and I remained silent, I fought the urge to pick up my phone and fiddle with a game or something to pass the time. I craved conversation with Kyler, but I had no common ground or good entry point. Then why do you crave it? That's odd. What would I even mention? Dirt? Digging? How annoying it was for Clay to stick to your trowel? Yeah, that's a start. Shoji was shy, but our interests overlapped. DeAndre was friendly overall, and Hendrik would launch into a lively monologue if I asked about rocks. Kyler was a robot. Spotting him raising his left hand, I let out a tiny protesting whimper before I could stop myself. Jesus Christ. God, keep it together, girl. You are thirsty as fuck. His fingers paused inches from his implant, and he turned to me curiously. What is it? I let out a sigh, then mentally kicked myself. I had no inkling of a topic either. In my scramble, I decided to... I'm going to admit to wanting small talk. I'm sick of the bullshit. I'm sick of all the fucking bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Curled up with my arms around my knees. Sorry, I did that because I thought you were going to turn your implant off, and I wanted to talk to you. You know, to pass the time. Kyler stared at me quizzically, like the notion had never crossed his mind. I wonder how common it was for someone to initiate a conversation with him. See, they want us to dig deeper. Oh God, it's more digging. Oh, it's a digging-themed game. You dig deeper into him, you dig deeper into the earth, you dig deeper into your soul. I see, I was originally going to scratch my head. It wouldn't be sensible to switch it off while awaiting instructions. Why do you turn it off anyway? Concentration? Yes, that and battery life. I find it easier to work in silence while... He glanced down at my phone with the earbuds attached. I smiled wryly. Total opposite, huh? I always need background noise, even if I'm reading. Shifting to my knees, I turned to him. Oh boy. I turned to him on my knees, sensing that we could maintain a conversation now. I pointed to my own ear impulsively as another question bubbled up. I bit my tongue to stop my inquiry and lowered my arm. However, Kyler noticed. For a second, I thought he would give me a deprecating frown, but instead he seemed amused. His tone was dry and matter-of-fact. You're so nosy. I'm sorry, you don't have to answer. I don't mind. Anyway, it's hereditary. I was born deaf. What's the sign language taught here? I only know of ASL. There are two, Langue des Signes des Belliqueux francophone and the Flemish Sign Language. Both are pretty similar. It's the mouthing and dialects that differ. You're going to ask me to sign now, aren't you? It's like you read my mind. Despite that, he seemed delighted, or at least complied without complaint. His hands moved while he spoke. I usually sign in the French community. Therefore, I'm used to mouthing or speaking French along with it. English, I am a bit slower, but I think you get the picture. His voice was deliberately unhurried, as were the gestures that accompanied it. I watched with interest. Since you're from the States, this is how we sign American. He interlaced his fingers in front of his chest. After making a complete circle, his hands dropped down. So when you complain about a nosy American, I'll know what to look for. There is this nosy American girl. The last gesture looked as if he were pretending to scrape something off the side of his jaw with his thumb. He stopped when we both heard voices echoing throughout the cave. They're telling us to leave everything, save our documents and photographs here. Safety measure. Gotcha, thanks. Are you okay down there? I glanced up and spotted Sherry, who held a large and powerful flashlight. Yes, we'll be right up. I'm sorry, something about the image. A large and powerful flashlight. Like a flashlight that could rule the entire goddamn world. Wow, that digging session was cut short. Okay. Oh, God. I should check my email. My parents must have... As I opened the lab door, I immediately froze. Augustin ranted angrily at Rosemary, who gestured to a chipped stone with tiny flakes surrounding it. Permission to touch or manipulate any. This is for my research. The two paused, then turned to me, and I cowered at their annoyed stares. As I shrunk back, Augustin approached and slammed the lab door shut. Boom! I said, boom! Not wanting to loiter, I whirled around and collided into someone. Now I was awkwardly sandwiched between that person and the door. Sorry about that. I glanced up, instantly recognizing Kyler's tall frame. He appeared baffled, then gazed at the door. Muffled voices still argued behind it. He took a few steps back to allow more space between us. Did something happen? From what I could gather, Augustin is mad at Rosemary over something. Why, were you planning to enter the lab too? Yes, I was planning to ask a few questions, but it's probably not the best time now. Yourself? I wanted to check my email. My laptop is in there and all my porn is on it, and I don't think they'd appreciate it if I slipped in to nab it. You could try using the computer upstairs. That old thing? Well, it's worth a shot. It was then that I heard the faint clicking of a keyboard upstairs. I doubted Hendrik would remain in the lab with that sort of tension going on. Sure enough, halfway up the stairs, I spotted his auburn ponytail. I glanced back down at Kyler. Maybe it's something you can ask Hendrik? I don't like going to him. Kyler never acted this juvenile, and it caught me off guard. I wonder if he mistranslated his words, but his body language suggested otherwise. God, it is so tense. Like, one person's yelling at another person, and he doesn't like that person. And I mean, this is what drama is all about, you ask me. If you're curious, I could ask Hendrik about the situation. Hesitantly, Kyler took a step forward, and I cheered silently. I doubted Kyler would mention his original question to Hendrik, but maybe engaging him in conversation would loosen up whatever friction the two had with each other. I trooped upstairs energetically and gave Hendrik a wave. Hey, working up there now? Sort of had to. Couldn't concentrate with the noise downstairs. So, I'm going to ask what happened, because I'm a nosy goddamn American. My email could wait, and it would inconvenience Hendrik to ask for his computer anyway. What's going on downstairs? It sounded as they were upset over something. Really? That's what you picked? Oh, you picked up that they were upset. My God, you are in the wrong field. Archaeology, fuck that. You need to go into private investigation, my dear. Ah, that. It's nothing new here, although I wished it happened less often. Kyler folded his arms wearily, and the two exchanged knowing glances that I couldn't understand. What's the argument about this time? Despite my advice, Rosemary insisted on gluing flakes to a lithic core found in the A3 layers, since we've been able to uncover debitage belonging to that core. That doesn't seem so bad. That's how you gain knowledge about napping, right? Yes, but she ended up using the wrong glue. I'm not going to enjoy dismantling it. Honestly, I don't know why you let her continue to work here. She's nothing but trouble. What kind of attitude is that? Despite our disagreements, she is excellent at her job. If anything, her insight has been valuable. Affronted, Hendrik stood up from his chair, shooting Kyler an aggravated glare. Kyler flinched slightly, but his eyes narrowed again. I tensed up, wondering if I should say something to appease them, or leave before it got too heated. I only say that because I'm thinking of the excavation team's best interests. You're getting ahead of yourself here. You're acting like you're one of us already. Just because you're in my uncle's good graces doesn't mean we'll hire you once you graduate. Ooh, sick. And we're not intending to hire anyone soon, especially not an inexperienced person fresh out of university with only a few months of field work under his belt. Kyler lowered his arms, his eyes looking both resentful and distraught, as if the notion had never occurred to him. Recovering, he clenched a fist, his voice rigid with determination. I've excavated here longer than most people. I've certainly spent more time in the cave than you. I'm highly qualified. There's much more than just digging diligently in the same old square. You've got to dig in triangles, ovals, even hexagons, you stupid little prick. Oh, I didn't care if I was an outsider. Guys, quit it. I firmly stood between them before their voices escalated even louder than the commotion downstairs. There's already one dispute. Can we not have another? I'm leaving. That's exactly what I want to do. Good call. Anyway, I'm out. You guys can continue bickering if you'd like. Sorry for that, Melissa. See? Oh, I shamed you both. Shamed you both! That's right. Okay. Jesus Christ. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue on this next time. What do you say? This has been C14 Dating. My name is Phil the Conquistadork. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm doing this for you. We're doing this to the end because I've never done this before, and I want to see what it looks like when the credits roll and I haven't thrown myself out the nearest window. So in the meantime, in between time, my name is Phil the Conquistadork. Join me again tomorrow. Bye-bye!